Hello friends, now let us now learn in this chapter about some important points about the sympathomimetics. So, sympathomimetics. Sympathomimetics are, first we will see about the classification and all the drugs which comes under this sympathomimetics. Sympathomimetics are divided into two types. One, those which are directly acting sympathomimetics, which are catecholamines and non-catecholamines. These catecholamines are of two types, which are endogenous and exogenous catecholamines. Endogenous catecholamines are noradrenaline and dopamine and adrenaline. Exogenous are dobutamine, dopoxamine, phenoldiazepam and isoprenaline. Non-catecholamines include xylometazoline, clonidine, phenylephrine, salbutamol, methoxamine are the non-catecholamines. Then we have indirectly acting sympathomimetics. Indirectly acting sympathomimetics are of two types. One, we have reuptake inhibitors, which are tricyclic antidepressants. This is tricyclic antidepressants, which include drugs like imipramine, trimipramine. It includes desipramine, clomipramine, then amitriptyline and nortriptyline. Then this also includes drugs like cocaine, noradrenaline reuptake inhibitors like reboxetine and SNAR, serotonin noradrenaline reuptake inhibitors like duloxetine and milnacipran. Then these indirectly acting sympathomimetics also include displacement reactions like tyramine, ephedrine, pseudoephedrine, amphetamine and methamphetamine. So this is the classification of sympathomimetics. So the next is directly acting sympathomimetics. Directly acting sympathomimetics, first it includes epinephrine. So directly acting sympathomimetics, the first drug which it includes is epinephrine. Epinephrine has maximum action on beta 2 receptors, followed by beta 1, then alpha 1, then alpha 2 receptors. So in the epinephrine, if you see the cardiovascular system, systolic blood pressure acts on, epinephrine acts, action on systolic, diastolic and heart rate. Epinephrine, with the help of beta 1 receptor, it acts on systolic blood pressure. Beta 2 receptor is more important than alpha 1 receptor in diastolic blood pressure. So systolic blood pressure, it increases systolic blood pressure by activating beta 1 receptor. In the blood vessels in diastolic blood pressure, it has two actions. One, it causes alpha vasoconstriction of alpha 1 receptor through alpha 1 receptor, and in the blood vessels through beta 2 receptor, it causes vasodilatation. With the help of vasoconstriction, with the help of alpha 1 receptor, it will increase the BP, whereas with beta 2 receptor, by causing vasodilatation, it decreases the BP at lower doses. So it increases the BP. This increase in BP or alpha 1 action occurs is activated first at higher dose, and then decrease in BP is activated at lower doses. Then vasomotor reversal of Dale. In vasomotor reversal of Dale, first there is action of epinephrine. This epinephrine, first with the help of alpha 1 receptor, alpha 1 receptor action is maximum it is activated first, that is at higher dose, whereas beta 2 receptor is activated at lower dose. So when you give epinephrine, there is activation of alpha 1 receptor causing vasoconstriction, thus increasing BP. Later, as the dose decreases, it activates beta 2 receptor, causing vasodilatation, thus decreasing BP. This is called as biphasic response. Then if you give alpha 1 blocker in the beginning and then give epinephrine, in this cases there is, though the dose of epinephrine is high in the beginning, but because of alpha 1 blocker there is no action on alpha receptor, and then there is only beta 2 action later. So this is a uniphasic response with downward deflection, and this is called as vasomotor reversal of Dale. Then again there is now instead of giving alpha blocker we give beta blocker. So if you give beta blocker first and then give epinephrine later, then first at higher doses alpha action, that is vasoconstriction and increased BP is present. In later doses, at lower doses, beta action is not there because of beta blocker. So this is called as uniphasic response with upward deflection, called as vasomotor reversal of Dale. Then this is vasomotor reversal of Dale. So biphasic response, we have both alpha 1 and beta 2 action. In uniphasic response with downward deflection, we have only beta action, and it acts on alpha 1 blocker and beta 2 blocker, alpha 1 blocker, whereas uniphasic response with upward deflection occurs in beta blocker. Then in the lungs it activates beta 2 receptors and causes bronchodilation by smooth muscle relaxation. Here there is one physiological antagonism, that is H-histamine. By acting on H1 receptor it causes bronchoconstriction, whereas this epinephrine acts on beta 2 receptor and cause bronchodilation. That means these two drugs, epinephrine and histamine, act on other different receptors and cause opposite action. So this is called physiological antagonism. Then in the urinary tract it activates alpha 1 receptor and increases the tone of trigone muscle. So because it increases the tone of trigone muscle, while using epinephrine we advise for catheterization to make the urine flow easy. Then on the uterus it acts on non-pregnant uterus. It alpha 1 action is more than beta 2 action, thus leaves the uterus in contracted state. In pregnant uterus, beta 2 action is more than alpha 1 action and causes relaxation. Then in the metabolic functions in the liver, it causes gluconeogenesis and glycogenolysis, and thus it causes hyperglycemia. Whereas in this liver it also acts on beta 3 receptors and cause lipolysis, thus increasing the free fatty acids. It acts on alpha 2 receptor, decreasing the insulin release. Then now after learning about all the actions of epinephrine, now we will learn about the uses of epinephrine. The percentage is very important. Anaphylactic shock, epinephrine is the drug of choice. Here in anaphylactic shock we give epinephrine or adrenaline IM. 1 in 1000 adrenaline is given in 0.5 ml injection. If there is no response, then you will have to repeat the dose. If after repetition also if there is no response, then you give IV 1 in 10,000%. See here 1 in 1000 is in 1 gram we have 1000 ml of, this means that 1 gram of epinephrine is present in 1000 ml of normal saline, and if we take 1000 milligrams of epinephrine, that means 1 gram of epinephrine is present in 1000 ml. Okay, so 1000 milligrams of epinephrine is present in 1000 ml, right? But we require a concentration of 1 milligram, that means there is 1 milligram per ml, right? If there is 1000 milligram per 1000 ml, then that means the concentration is 1 milligram per ml. So but we require how much concentration? We require this 0.5 ml injection. So 0.5 ml if it is injected, it has 0.5 milligrams dose is required. So the dose required, the adrenaline dose that is required is 0.5 milligrams dose is required in 0.5 ml, right? So this is about how the dosage in epinephrine, anaphylactic shock. Then the second use of epinephrine is use in bronchial asthma. In bronchial asthma, it is inhalational, that is 1 in 100. Then third, we have cardiac arrest. In cardiac arrest, it is IV, that is 1 in 1000. Then this also prolongs the duration of local anesthetic. So here it occurs as subcutaneous dose, that is 1 in 2 lakhs. As local anesthetic, we give 1 in 2 lakhs. It can be used in epistaxis and pulseless cardiac arrest. In pulseless cardiac arrest, alternative to epinephrine, we can use vasopressin. So these are the different uses of epinephrine. Then the next sympathomimetic which is important is noradrenaline. So this noradrenaline is also called as norepinephrine, and it acts on alpha 1, alpha 2 and beta 1 receptors. And it acts on alpha 1, alpha 2 and beta 1 receptors. The actions of noradrenaline, if you see, these act on CVS. On CVS, they activate beta 1 receptors and causes action. They act on beta 1 receptor, the systolic blood pressure. For systolic blood pressure, they act on alpha 1 and beta 2 receptors for diastolic blood pressure. So systolic blood pressure, they act on beta 1 receptors, because beta 1 receptors is already present, so activation of beta 1 receptors increases heart rate. In diastolic blood pressure, here there is no beta 2 receptor, so it acts only on alpha 1 receptor, causing vasoconstriction, thus increasing the diastolic blood pressure. Heart rate, there is transient increase in heart rate, later there is reflex bradycardia due to vagal stimulation is seen. Then if you take, this is noradrenaline action, which is also called norepinephrine. So if you take this, noradrenaline is used as drug of choice in septic shock. And if we take into account the transplanted heart, in transplanted heart there is no reflex action. No reflex action is seen in transplanted heart. There is only increase in heart rate is seen, and there is no reflex bradycardia which is seen in transplanted heart. Then the next drug which is important is dopamine. Dopamine will act on different receptors. Dopamine will act on D1 receptor, thus causing vasodilatation. It acts at the dose of 1 to 2 microgram per kg per minute. Whereas dopamine acts on beta 1 receptor and increases the heart rate at a dosage of 2 to 10 microgram per kg per minute. Then dopamine acts on alpha 1 receptors and increases heart BP at the dosage of more than 10 micrograms per kg per minute. This dopamine D1 causes renal vasodilatation and thus maintains the GFR. Dopamine is used as a drug of choice in cardiogenic shock and oliguric renal failure. So dopamine is also used in congestive heart failure at a dose of 2 to 10 micrograms per kg per minute. Then the next drug which is important is dobutamine. This dobutamine occurs by beta 2 activation. This activates beta 2 receptor and causes inotropic action. So it is used in congestive heart failure, and it is used as drug of choice in cardiogenic shock and stress echocardiography. The half-life of dopamine is 2 minutes. Then the next drug which is important is phenoldiprem. Phenoldiprem will act on D1 receptor. It is D1 receptor agonist which increases the renal blood flow, causes vasodilatation and thus decreases BP. It is used in hypertensive emergencies and renal failure. In hypertensive emergencies, it is the drug of choice is IV nicardipine, but we can also use phenoldiprem in hypertensive emergency. But the drug of choice is IV nicardipine. So if you see the type of shock and the drug of choice, for anaphylactic shock, the drug of choice is epinephrine, which is given IM. For septic shock, the drug of choice is noradrenaline. For cardiogenic shock, the drug of choice is dobutamine. Cardiogenic shock with oligemia, the drug of choice is dopamine. For neurogenic shock, the drug of choice is phenylephrine. For vasovagal shock, the drug of choice is atropine. Now we will learn about the drug and action on BP, heart rate and net heart rate. It is just a table which is important. So first the drugs we will take. So first, epinephrine acts on alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1 and beta 2 receptors. Now systolic blood pressure occurs due to the action on beta 1 receptor. In epinephrine we have beta 1 receptor. So because in epinephrine we have beta 1 receptors and systolic blood pressure acts through beta 1 receptor, epinephrine activates beta 1 receptor and thus increases systolic blood pressure. Whereas in diastolic blood pressure it is due to alpha 1 and beta 2 receptors. Epinephrine has alpha 1 receptor and beta 2 receptor also. First, epinephrine at higher concentrations, it activates alpha 1 receptor and causes initial vasoconstriction, increasing the diastolic blood pressure. Later, it causes vasodilatation through beta 2 receptors at lower doses and causes decrease in blood pressure. So it shows biphasic response in diastolic blood pressure. Then if you see the heart rate, direct action of heart rate is through beta 1 receptor. So epinephrine activates the beta 1 receptor and thus increases the heart rate. There is no reflex action of epinephrine because reflex action of heart rate is dependent on diastolic blood pressure. Because here the diastolic blood pressure is biphasic, there is no reflex heart rate. So the net heart rate due to epinephrine is increased heart rate. Then if you see norepinephrine, the norepinephrine acts on alpha 1, alpha 2 and beta 1 receptors. Systolic blood pressure, it acts on beta 1 receptors. Norepinephrine can act on beta 1 receptors, so it activates beta 1 receptors and thus increases systolic blood pressure. Diastolic blood pressure is due to alpha 1 and beta 2 receptors. So norepinephrine can act on alpha 1 receptor but beta 2 receptor is absent. So there is no beta 2 action. So norepinephrine will activate alpha 1 receptor and causes vasoconstriction and thus increases the diastolic blood pressure. Then if you see in the heart rate, the direct action of heart rate is due to beta 1 receptor. So norepinephrine directly acts on beta 1 receptor and thus increases the heart rate. Then if you see the reflex action is due to the diastolic blood pressure, because norepinephrine increases the diastolic blood pressure, reflexly the heart rate is decreased. The reflex action of reflex heart rate due to norepinephrine is more decreased when compared to direct increase in heart rate. So as a result, the net heart rate is decreased. The next drug, isoprenaline, acts on beta 1 and beta 2 receptors. Systolic blood pressure is dependent on beta 1 receptor, so isoprenaline activates beta 1 receptor, thus increasing the systolic blood pressure. Diastolic blood pressure is dependent on alpha 1 and beta 2 receptors. In isoprenaline, alpha 1 receptor action is absent, so isoprenaline acts only on beta 2 receptor, causing vasodilatation, thus decreasing the diastolic blood pressure. So if you see, direct action of heart rate is through beta 1 receptor, thus increases the heart rate. Reflex action of heart rate, this depends upon the diastolic blood pressure, and thus there is increase in reflex action of heart rate. So net increase, there is net increase in heart rate. So this is the table. So if you see, maximum increase in heart rate is seen in isoprenaline. Okay. So if you draw a graph for heart rate, there is increase in epinephrine. This increase in first heart rate, the first increase in heart rate A, which is a slight increase in heart rate, is epinephrine. Maximum increase in heart rate is isoprenaline, whereas decrease in heart rate is seen in norepinephrine or noradrenaline. So this is the important table about the sympathomimetics. Thank you guys for watching my lecture. Thank you.